booming success of the new region has quickly caught the attention of both investors and new residents. With more and more companies waiting to set up rural processing plants, Victor Rossi knew it was time to act. He purchased land near the highway intersection and launched the Riverview Industrial Park, an open industrial site for investors, located right next to the farmlands. This allowed him to support business growth while still keeping pollution and emissions under control. To meet the growing demand for housing, Victor also expanded the workers' village. With this growth, the government officially recognized this area as a town and began planning a new town hall, which will be built in the new expanded area. This town hall will facilitate the local government services. As the town grew, so did the need for better transportation. Aidan McAllister, using his knowledge of transit networks, established Blue Tie Transit, a transportation company. He built a bus depot in the industrial area and a bus station in the town center to connect people with jobs, homes, and services. With new industrial housing, transport, and services all on the rise, the future of this growing town is looking brighter every day. Hello humans and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be continuing with the Sunshine Bay City, where this is episode 2 and I'm going to be building the industrial area for the town, the bus network, expanding the town, and placing the town hall. Well, it's actually the tax office, but I'll pretend it's the town hall because I think it goes well with the vibe. I don't think there would be a big town hall in the community this size, but yeah. So I start off by rearranging and demolishing any of the wind turbines that aren't generating a good electricity, because one, the wind turbines next to the highway connection are actually blocking the space for the industrial zone, and there were a few turbines in this area that weren't generating a good amount of electricity. So I thought, you know what, let's just remove them and place them in more efficient locations. And it also gives me an excuse to build these sort of nice windy dirt road that act as service connections for these wind turbines. And yeah, that's about it. I struggled a little bit on this hill because it's fairly steep, so I was like, it made it a bit more difficult to build a fairly realistic connection to the area, but honestly there wasn't much else I could do about it. I guess the service vans would just have to handle being able to be on steep, rough terrain, but other than that, I think it's fine. And then I built the connection straight off of this highway, and I built it after the curve, and for two reasons. So one, I could give it a good buffer in the future if I want to upgrade the highway into an avenue and place buildings, for one. And for two, it also allows me to not accidentally disturb the curb. And yeah, that's nice. And as you can see, the electricity production actually went up, even though I pretty much halved the amount of wind turbines that are being used. So yeah, it's well worth it. And then this part, I had to pretty much redesign this sort of intersection area because I realized that if I build the industrial area straight off of that, it wouldn't be very nice to have sort of like sloped roads on an industrial area, so I pushed the slope start back, and then I realized that the bridge slope is a bit more steep on this side, so I just upgraded that road as well. And then yeah, so I put it as a 30 units on this side to have around about the same slope as the 20 units on the other side. So yeah, I think it's worth it. And as you can see, it's pretty nice. 6.2%. Wow, yeah, it's exactly 6.2% on both sides. I forgot about that, but yeah, that's good. And then I built the avenues that lead into the industrial areas. This ended up being a bit more difficult than I wanted for a few reasons. For one, right here where I tried to maximize the space next to the highway, and I thought, you know what, that's not very realistic. And two, as you can see, I can't exactly continue this avenue straight because it would not be very centrally, like it would not be a good connector road, not connector, the good collector road. to have only connections on one side and highway on the other, because I can probably only put about 1.5 blocks worth of space if I continued with this road strip. So now I moved it slightly to be central to the future expansions of this area as well, but then this dilemma happened where it was very difficult for me to make this road straight. Like, I tried a few different things, as you can see, and ultimately decided on this approach where I would just bite the bullet and lose a little bit of zoning in the area to be able to have at least somewhat straight connection. So, like, I think this just looks a little bit more realistic because, it's a square intersection and I only lose about one cell of zoning, so that's fine. And this is the one I struggled with the most, building this diagonal road in a way that doesn't interfere with the existing road layout and also allows a sort of buffer zone around the highway. And I don't know why, but no matter what I tried, it didn't look good. So I temporarily just gave up on it. You know what? I'll clear my mind, I'll build the rest of the grid up, and it should then look nice. And I'll come back to it with maybe a better idea. And yeah, then I just went back, fixed these intersections, and decided, you know what? Yeah, there's no possible way for me to make this look better. I'll just bite the bullet and make it really close to the highway, and we'll just not zone on that side, I guess. Because, yeah, I don't think that was necessary. And then this part. Honestly, also very annoying, because, how do I explain this? Yeah, there's not much space for expansion on this side of the industrial area. So like this industrial park, sorry, I completely forgot to tell you. The park is supposed to be named Riverview Industrial Park. I think I just forgot to name it. So yeah, it's a Riverview Industrial Park owned by Victor Rossi and, well, both of the Rossis, and it's mainly just so that he can have the people, like his clients, who can use his produce to make good stuff, including his own factories that convert the farm fresh food into products for the customers. And it makes sense for the factories to be nearby from his farmland, and because he owns the land, he can also sort of impose his eco protection regulations on the area to ensure that, there's not any pollution in the area and his farmlands are still quite nice. Anyways, back to this. So I had to just give up on the whole no avenue in this area idea because I couldn't find any solution that looked really good. So then I just decided that, you know what, I'll bite the bullet, I'll put the avenue there. And honestly, it's not that terrible because at the end of the day, I can still use the avenue for future expansion in case I want to build a forestry industry in the area. So yeah, it would be very chaotic to have that much traffic going into a single place, but I think it's fine. I'll ignore it. But yeah, there we go. And I put a bunch of water pipes and moved the utilities to that area because I just thought that it was sort of unrealistic to have utilities right next to the farmlands, especially if you're trying to prevent pollution. So yeah, so there's not going to be any more water filtration and garbage collection utilities near the farmlands. And yeah, and now I tried to find a way to add bus lanes to this highway that's connecting between the industrial area and the main highway, and and the rest of the town, but I couldn't find any good roads that had bus lanes and didn't look like regular city avenues, because I was like, you know what, it doesn't, because there were a few good options, it would work, and I just didn't think that it was a good idea considering that this is supposed to be a highway for high industrial traffic and you would want wide lanes. So yeah, and then we move on to this, the town expansion. I actually went off grid, well, not off grid, I just built its own grid for this area because you know, it would maximize the amount of space available for the zoning. And also it would be sort of nice to just have, you know, break up the pattern, have something fresh, have something unique going through. And for some reason, the game just flat out refused to give me a guideline to make a straight, like not straight, but like to make a curve connecting these areas. So yeah, screw you, game. I can do that. I can do it without you. Anyways, and then I connected the service road for the wind turbines because, you know, why would you forget that? Yeah, you need that. And then yeah, made it go wrap around because now it would have been very steep from this angle. And now I'm placing the I forget, what can I say, sort of alleyways, I guess. Basically just like really thin roads that allow for nice hillside residential. And yeah, I think this looks fairly good because right now it would allow the residents to have maximum possible space for their housing instead of for wide roads. Plus, if the amount of housing that there is going to be on these alleyways, I don't think there needs to be a high amount of connections, like a parking area around it anyway, so it's fine. Because look at how tiny that is. There isn't much space to have that many roads in that area anyway, so it's not like there was gonna be a lot of long roads that would not allow people to have like that would need have roadside parking. Like even this, I tried to expand into layer 2, but it wouldn't work because the hill's just too steep. It's not good. So yeah, there we go. Then I think that's the last of it. Yeah, for this area that's the last of it, and then I expanded a few more hillside roads in this area. I'm so sorry about that. And then there we go. Think didn't pull that much, but it's going to be useful to have just that much extra space for residential in this area. And then it would be nice because well, right now I just completely just spilled green paint all over the canvas, this area, but yeah. And now we build the town hall in this new expansion site. Because originally I wanted the town hall to be at the end of the main, like, central avenue of the town, but then I was like, you know what, there's no way for me to make that look good. I tried that off camera, but it didn't work. So with this time around, I just like put it down into the expansion site. I tried to place some parks or plazas or something around it that would look nice, and I found that the only plazas or anything that did fit around it were like really tiled, really like off-color plazas that wouldn't really fit in with this sort of build. So I just ended up creating a custom park that goes around the town hall, and I called it town hall park, obviously. But yeah, and then I realized I didn't want to completely enclose the town hall, just to leave a little bit of gap behind it so people can still access the park from the town hall, just to give a sort of backing, like a back wall to the parking lot. That's probably enough. And yeah, I tried to find the exact trees that were in the surrounding area, but then I actually thought that, you know what, maybe it would be better to just have the same trees that are in the existing town hall and just place them. I believe this is oak, I think. I don't remember, but yeah, I believe I placed oak trees around the area because it matched the town hall, and they look nice as well. It's not like they're bad trees, it's just the only thing is it just doesn't match the natural surrounding trees of the area, but it's fine, they don't have to. And then I realized the footpath that's going behind the town hall, it's not very nice. And so I thought of, like, you know, why is it doing that? Because apparently the how do I explain this? Yeah. So apparently the path that is next to the rear gates is a bit risen up because the gates are on a slope. So I had to sort of use move it to make that as smooth and terrainy as possible, because I didn't want it to be super high to be, because then it would just look like a footpath with cliffs on either side. And yes, it's for a park this size, that's not like, if it was a bigger park I could maybe understand it, because it'd be like, yeah, you know what, they put the flat area a little bit below the surface just to give it that much more space and have a nice border or anything. But yeah, honestly, I think it's fine for this area. Then I went back and put commercial in the middle of the area. Turned out that's not enough, and I put a second block of commercial there, and I think this should be enough because it did bring the commercial demand down, and so it should be nice. Yeah. And then I moved on and I saw there wasn't enough water being supplied to the area, so I was like, okay, you know what, I will move the water pumps closer to the water, because I didn't want to make a sort of like water dip in the area, because I thought that, you know what, it's next to farmlands and you wouldn't want to move that much terrain, especially that much wet dirt around, in case it messes up the farmlands. And then I realized the problem wasn't actually the water pumps but the electricity, because and I thought the mod was broken, because I have the 81 tiles mod that allows me to have electricity transmission along roads. So I was like, okay, that's weird, because I'm generating enough electricity. And then I saw this. I forgot to connect the dirt roads to 2 of the turbine sets. No wonder I'm not getting enough electricity to be supplied around the town. And yeah, as soon as I connected that, boom, there we go. Electricity all over the region. Perfect. But yeah, and then I think, yeah, there's not much. And then I moved on to the bus station. I downloaded a lot of assets for the bus station, only to realize that, you'll see in a minute, that, see, look at it. I thought that was like a nice bus station for the area, because, you know, it sort of looks like a old bus, like a really old building with only 2, I think it was only 2 or 3 stops around it, and then I can't place bus stops on it. Which bloody genius uploaded a bus stop building that I can't place bus stops on? Okay, and I can understand it might not be the fault of the modder. Maybe they didn't know, because, you know, they can't keep up with every single game update, so maybe one update broke the asset and then couldn't fix it. So, you know, that's fine, that's okay. Then I put this asset, and they didn't put a foundation under it, so the entire thing looks very bumpy. So I was like, you know what, I'll just move this to near the entrance to have it in a nice flat area, and while I'm at it, I'll actually change it for a slightly better looking bus station, because for one, the one before it was a bit too big, because I honestly, in this region, I don't think I'll need more than 4 bus stops worth of buses, so that's fine. And for 2, that one felt more like a sort of villagey regional bus station, because it had sort of, you know, that open concept, like open build area that you'd find in a village where there are loads of buses that go to loads of different faraway places, so you'd want that many separate bus stations. And yeah, it just didn't feel like something that would be in this sort of new established town. And so yeah, I just built this one, which is a bit more modern. And then I realized that the buses were doing something funky, to say the least, where they were going all the way around the residential area. And I realized it's probably because the place is sorry, I'm going. The place is very close to 2 intersections, like it's right in between 2 intersections. So I'm like, okay, makes sense. Maybe there wasn't enough space, so I moved the bus station to its own bus path, and there we go. That fixed the problem for now. And yeah, it looks nice, it looks neat, the buses can go straight through it, it's perfect. And yeah, and then I changed the intersection to make it feel as if that road is a sort of continuous road, and the bus station service alley is mainly just for buses that need to enter the bus station, so it wouldn't make sense for there to be a full intersection for the specifically for the bus station when the intersection is between these 2 big intersections. So I was messing around with the settings, I found the button to disable the road markings, and then I made the custom intersection so that it just looks like a straight through road, and honestly I'm not too mad about it, it looks good. Then I thought of maybe, you know, adding a bit more decoration, but I'm like, you know what, not necessary. It looks like a straight road, it's fine, it's all good. There we go. And that's about it, that's perfect. the only thing I just now realized is I forgot to add a sort of how to explain, this sort of like buffer zone to in front of the intersection, because I'd imagine in a place like this there would be like a buffer no parking zone across from that road, just so there's space for the buses to turn without having to worry about hitting a parked car in front of it. And then I sort of just put that footage in the top corner because I realized that it wasn't very interesting. It was pretty boring to see me changing the color of bus lines and selecting which models are allowed on it. So yeah. And now I'm moving on to more electricity problems. Because with the new town expansion and with the industrial area, these wind turbines are not enough, nowhere near enough electricity. So I was like, you know what, no longer efficient to place that many wind turbines. I'll just put down a big ass, sorry, to put a big solar plant. I think that's fine. Yeah. At this point in the recording, I was really tired. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just do something that's gonna give the best result. Because I completely forgot about the story at this point. I'm like, you know what? The lives of the city, the functionality of the city is more important than the damn story. And so yeah. I was tired and I just ignored it. And then I put down that massive water filtration plant instead, without any forethought about what that kind of project would entail. And yeah, at least it's close to water, I guess. But then there we go. And now I'm moving on to the McAllister farmlands, and yeah, I'm expanding these farmlands. And if I don't, yeah, I think, yeah, I forgot to mention this at the start of the story, and at the start of this episode when I was telling the story, is that the McAllister farmlands are going to be very much animal product oriented. So the nice thing about them is that right now it's going to be a lot of wheat fields and a lot of animal pastures. So it's just to give that sense of feeling, to be like, hey, you know what? Have a bunch of wheat for the animals, and then the animals, and then the slaughterhouse to kill the animals. And also a milking parlor to milk the cows, but yeah, primarily for killing. That's about it, I guess. There we go. So yeah, this comes, and I just about managed to squeeze this tiny dirt road between this tiny gap, which I am fairly happy about, because it means that I can have a sort of backbone area behind the farmlands to build even more farmlands. Sorry, I'm yawning again. And yeah, we build the connection into that sort of border road area, and yeah, built a more smooth connection to make it look good, and there we go. That's about it. I think, yeah, I placed the milk pile, and there we go. Then I move on to the Rossi farmlands, because I didn't have this recorded on camera, but off camera while I was experimenting with the build, I realized there's a massive problem in the Rossi farmlands, which is that there is no local storage on the farmlands. So what happens is trucks harvest goods from the different farmlands and stuff, and then they go across and store it in the Moretti's storage unit. So I'm like, you know what? Doesn't make sense. They would have their own storage unit. And then I also thought that this space was a bit wasted, so I got rid of that road and placed down the farm services. And then I put down even more storage at the back of this area, because this area isn't really big enough for anything else, so just storage. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. This has been fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did. I would really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.